Hey, it's Imran Siddiq. Welcome back to Web Squadron. I want to talk to you about a subject that a lot of people struggle with, and it's being able to say no to a client or a customer. When you're starting off as a freelancer or a web design agency, you almost feel inclined to accept whatever job comes through the door or in your email or even in the street because you're trying to build up your profile and get reviews and scale up your business. There's always a danger with that. You could have like 2 or 3 people come to you and you know that one of them is going to be a really good client and the other two, well, you're not too sure about them, but you want the work, you want the money, okay? And you start working with them, and very early on or later on or at any point of the web design process, you and the client kind of fall out of favor with one another. Maybe you annoy them and they don't like it, or they annoy you, or I don't know. It might be the spec, the branding. They may be very slow on making decisions or getting back to you when you need feedback. Or if you've allocated 3 or 4 days to complete this job and you're now on month 5, and even though that project is not taking up all your time because it's kind of stagnated or just sat there on the shelves, it's still at the back of your mind, right? Or it might be the client kind of contacts you at silly hours of the day or rings you up or says, yeah, I know we got that logo and I know this is the website we were working on, but I saw something different. I want a completely different website. And you're right at the end now. You're near the finishing line and they're not going to pay unless you change the entire website. Or maybe you got a specification and you agreed everything, you got a contract and all of this, and you know what you're doing, and you're happy because you were like, hey, this is not going to stress me out. This sounds like a really good job. And then halfway through the process, the client goes, but could I have this? Could I have that? And you feel inclined to do it because you've got a great working relationship. But this new feature they've asked for suddenly changes the approach you were doing. It might be a completely different theme or template or a process. Now all of a sudden you can't just use WooCommerce on its own. You've got to do other stuff. This is where you have to take a step back and say no. The very first few websites we built, we didn't say no. We kind of wanted the money. We wanted to scale up. We wanted to satisfy the client. We wanted a good review. So you go all out to deliver on them. But we should have said no. Because we had a lot of sleepless nights. And those sleepless nights, you're not getting paid for those. All of those above and beyond, I bet the client doesn't even recognize or appreciate that in their feedback to you. They're like, hey, yeah, Imran Web Squadron did a fantastic job, blah, 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 blah. They won't mention, we did drop some stuff onto them that they weren't ready for and they dealt with it. They won't do that. Okay? And you have to be able to say no. Now, we do. And the first time you do it, you'll feel a little bit guilty inside. You're going to go, ooh, should I have done that? Could I have done what they wanted? And what I want to give you is 2 really quick, simple strategies. Number 1 is the moment you realize they're asking for something that makes you uneasy, is going to stress you out, or you're not entirely sure of how you're going to approach it, let alone can anyone solve it. You need to say no, step away, okay? Say, I can't do this. Or this is going to cost you extra, okay? Or we're going to have to do further development. Or as part of this project, this is not part of it. So we won't do it now. And later on, after we've delivered on X, Y, Z, we might review and look at it. Okay? Don't go off on a tangent because the minute you accept one deviation, you will accept another one and another one and another one. And then sometimes it never stops like a train. The second thing you need to do, and I mentioned it in the first one, actually, you might have heard it, you increase the quote price for the job. If you have said we're going to build your website for £1,000, $1,000, okay, and now they're asking for a lot more, and that's going to take an extra day or 2 to work out, maybe you got to investigate plugins and test out. That's a day. Then you got to build it. Maybe you're using a plugin that requires a bit of thinking time and testing. There might be 3 days there. Do you do that for free? Or do you charge them extra for it? And if you employed someone to do an extension on your home, or build a new garden office, or just do something like a new driveway or whatever, okay, decorating, and you agree what they're going to do, and halfway through the job, you say to the builder, right, that's what we agreed to do, but I now want you to also do this as well. I don't want a flat roof. I now want a sky lantern, whatever roof now, with loads of like windows in the roof. Do you think they're going to go, yeah, fine, we'll do it? No, they'll say to you, okay, well, the sky lantern's going to cost an extra £5,000. The time to do it now adds on an extra 3 days to the work. Now we've got to get in extra resources. So now your whole entire job cost has gone up. Boom. You make the choice now, don't you, as a customer? Doesn't matter that you paid them to build an extension. You went and changed the goalpost. You've now said you want a double door instead of a single door. You now want another wall knocking down rather than whatever being built there. Whatever, you've changed the goalpost. So the contractor has every right to increase the cost. And you will pay it, won't you? So that mentality of how we do it for others, but we almost feel afraid to do it back to the client in web design. And what I want to get across is you should not be afraid. And your client surely has to understand. And if you remember these analogies I'm giving you, look, if this was a house extension and then you changed and we had an agreement for what we wanted to do, and now you've asked for X, Y, Z, it changes what we're doing. There's extra time, there's extra resources, extra testing, blah, 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 blah. If you can get that across to your client, all of a sudden then saying no in that scenario is not as bad. But if I go back to step one, okay, I just want to go back in a circle here. What if they don't ask for anything new and they are just being difficult? You got a spec, they're just being difficult. They're not responding to you. Get it down in your contract for how long this job is going to last. So you have a little bit of leeway, but you might say this is a 2-week project, a 7-day project. Here's what you're going to do by day 3. This is what you expect of them by day 4 or 5, etc. And if the project goes on, say it's a 1-week project, if the project has now gone beyond day 10, there will be an extra charge for it. Or they have to understand that you may stop working on the website, for instance, as well. You're not creating a threat. You're just getting them to understand that your time is precious. Okay, you've got other projects. And if you don't get this project completed, it stops you putting in all your attention into another project. But if you have an open-ended contract, if you allow your clients to kind of just make and do what they want whenever they want, you're going to end up in this limbo stage where you just never complete. And there's nothing worse than having many projects on the go and you're not fully completed. Because what if they all come back to you at the same point in time? Then you're panicking to get it done. It's totally okay to say no, because I prefer to start my work, enjoy it, love it, speak to people, enjoy speaking to them as well, and not go to bed stressing myself out because I've got to do X, Y, Z, and I don't know what to do, or I've suddenly got this obligatory pressure on me to deliver something that we didn't agree with in the past. But if the client at any point speaks down to me, if the client makes me feel like I am their servant to do whatever they want, I kind of, in a nice way, remind them that we're working in a partnership. And in fact, I drop it early on, right at the start. Okay, this is a working partnership. I want to be working with you in 10 years' time. I don't want it just to be, we do the website, you disappear and I disappear. I want it to be a long-term thing. And hopefully then you become much better at working together. But remember, it's okay to say no. I hope that helps some of you out there that are struggling to do that. Just think differently. And again, do not just do loads of extra work for free unless they pay for it. I hope you like, subscribe, share, and follow. And I'll keep seeing and hearing you.